What is going on, you guys? This is Erica's for the win, back with some more Elden Ring tidbits. So George R.R. Martin was interviewed recently, and he talked about Elden Ring. I gotta say, just seeing this one clip and seeing him talk about Elden Ring and his work on it, it was just really cool, very surreal and awesome to see. So I'm gonna show the clip in a second, but I want to warn you guys that he does say something in this clip that is potentially a spoiler to some, so beware if you don't want to know. But he says something very spicy, something that maybe we weren't supposed to know. He might have misspoke, or he might have slipped. So check it out. Here's the clip, and then we'll talk about it after.
I know that you've recently been a part of developing a video game, and it seems to me like it's sort of a natural fit for a fantasy fiction writer to work on a video game. How is that, different from what we know you for working on?
Well, it actually is considerably different. I've played some video games. I'm not a big video gamer, but the game is called the Elden Ring, and it's a sequel to a video game that came out a few years ago called Dark Souls, and it came out of Japan. My work on it was actually done years ago. These games, they're like movies. They take a long time to develop. Basically, they wanted a world created to set the game in. They wanted world building as a big factor in fantasy and science fiction. You're not only talking about the characters and the plot, but the setting is almost as important as everything else. Tolkien's Middle-earth, Robert E. Howard's Hyborian Age, the foundation universe of Isaac Asimov. I worked up fairly detailed background for them. And then they took it from there. So, it's been several years since I've last seen them, but they would come in periodically and show me some monsters they designed or the latest special effects or the cool things. But the game has been very slowly developing, and now it's coming out in January, I believe. So I'll be as excited as anybody else to see it.
So there you go. He says that Elden Ring is a sequel to Dark Souls. Again, he might have misspoke. That was my knee-jerk reaction because he did, call it the Elden Ring. So I thought, well, maybe he got this wrong too. Maybe. But people are kind of theorizing and guessing that. What if it is? Or what if it's just a spiritual successor? Either way, I think it's cool. I'm good with either way it goes, but it's just pretty interesting that he did say this during the interview. He also said a couple other things, such as his work for the game stopped years ago. And the timing of this interview emerging and this discussion is very interesting because I was literally talking about this last night on Brap. I was a guest on Brap. It's a podcast. I was hanging out with Slow-Mo and Brap, and we were talking about Elden Ring and George R.R. Martin's hand and how far it extended, basically. Was it just the world building? Was he writing more than that? And we all kind of agreed that maybe it is best if George R.R. Martin just did the world building, and then Miyazaki and From Software took over and did the rest. And sure enough, we were pretty much right. Miyazaki and From Software, they've pretty much taken the world that he's built, the lands between, and all of that, and built upon that with their own touch. So just the fact that he's lent his hand onto this game with his skills and experience in world building and character development and all of that, things that we've seen him do really well with Game of Thrones, right? The ending, we can't put it on him. But he built that world. So knowing that he kind of set the foundation and Miyazaki and team are, creating this gameplay around it, it's just awesome to hear. And I can't wait to see it. He even says in the interview, he can't wait to see it. And it's just so cool to see him talking about games and talking about his anticipation for seeing this thing, how he understands the process being very different than him writing a book. I thought that was really cool for him to say and for them to ask. That was a question I would ask him. That's very interesting to know, how he would compare writing a book and creating that world for literature compared to creating a world for a video game, something he has little experience with. He says he's not really a gamer. He's only played a few games through his life. So it's very interesting to see how those processes are different. I wish we could dive in deeper. I wish I could learn more about that. But for this short clip, we did learn a lot. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you found it interesting, Do you think he misspoke, or do you think he let it slip that it really is a sequel to Dark Souls, maybe a spiritual successor? Tell me what you think in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Peace.